welcome to the roundtable discussion on NFTs, I guess, for filmmakers, but Matt notified me also that there's also non-filmmakers who are part of this festival. So we'll expand the conversation. Luckily, we have Marlon here. I'll let Marlon introduce himself, and Dan, and some other guests as well tonight. So, and also you're free to log on. I know Matt sent out an Eventbrite to all the festival pass holders. So feel free to log on. This is supposed to be a roundtable, not just, one way. And also everyone who's online, I guess Matt will monitor the Facebook comments. We'll try to answer the questions live as well. So I'm Prav. I go by Pravi. It's actually Praveen Yalamanchi. I'm actually met Matt originally. He was part of the Miami Science Fiction Film Festival. So I founded the AR VR NFT track for the Miami Sci-Fi Film Festival. We're a top 5 global sci-fi film festival in the world, but don't take that like too seriously because there aren't that many sci-fi film festivals in the world. But it's kind of cool to say that way. So we're actually the #1 sci-fi film festival in India and China of all places. So that's kind of interesting. We did a Bollywood XR down here. We launched the VR edition, the largest grossing Bollywood movie in history. So we built the whole Bollywood film set in our convention center. So yeah, if you ever come to Miami, there's always some interesting things going on for filmmakers, game developers. So just real quick, I'm currently the executive director at the Miami Blockchain Center. And as part of that, we go full steam ahead where we create the whole community. So, one of the things about Miami is, people say it's the crypto capital of the world. But part of that is we're here to serve, right? So you don't have to live in Miami to become part of our community. So if you guys have an NFT, a game, a film, we definitely will help you promote it, help develop it. That's what Miami's all about, collaboration. We're very much a collaborative, open community. So, part of what we want to do tonight is get to know everyone at this festival. And just like Matt did, he presented his awesome project. He actually won first prize, if I recall, for a AR short film for our festival. And we went out of our way, we go out of our way to really promote all the people who submit, especially the winners of our festival. So we'll definitely do the same thing for your NFT project. So tonight we're going to really talk about things like the William Shatner token, and the full cycle of how that project got started. Also how it kind of ended and how we can resurrect it with your help. And we'll go from there. So let's just go around the room to see who's at the round table today. Maybe Marlon. As soon as he turns off his camera, right? All right, Dan, do you want to go while Marlon gets
Sure,
back up?
yeah, definitely. Hey, everyone, thanks for having us. Daniel here. Work with Prav down here in the Blockchain Center, Miami. So yeah, super keen to hear what you guys have going on with your festival, and always welcome and looking forward to seeing you guys in Miami. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry guys, I just had to switch over to my office here. I'm Marlon. Pravi and I, we've worked together for a while from, founding EOS Miami, and we were some of the guys going around having crypto meetups before Miami really took off with crypto, right? Today I'm running one of the top launch pads in the entire industry called Starter. So we've launched a little over 60 DeFi, GameFi, and NFT projects. Collectively, we've raised a little over $45 million for them. I'm also co-founder of the Telons blockchain, very successful, one of the fastest blockchains with a lot of traction in real world applications. And recently founded the Atlanta Blockchain Center. So we're, going to be the catalyst for the emergence of blockchain in Atlanta. I'm really looking forward to that and working with Pravi on that. So lots of fun stuff happening.
I guess you guys don't know, but there's a lot of synergy between Australia and Atlanta and Miami. Like literally a lot of the TV shows that have a setting in Australia, US TV shows, are actually filmed in Miami. So we have a lot of Australian, I guess, type of scenes here. Like if you guys remember that show, Madam Secretary, there's a bunch of episodes they're supposed to be set in Australia. They're literally in South Florida. So maybe we'll do a side live stream, and then and I got alligators in my backyard. If you look at the right angle, they look like crocodiles. So we'll do a little.
Yeah, well, northern Queensland, we have a lot of crocodiles. Not so much where we are, but yeah, definitely further north, stacks them.
Yeah, and we have Petria.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Petria. I'm in Australia, as you probably can hear from the accent. I'm just really interested in what Matt's doing, and actually I'll go along today to the mall as well. I joined last night. I'm an educator, and I think that the XR and space is really going to be pivotal for the future. So I'm just here to basically learn. And I'm also on a outfit called Women in Technology. I'm on their board. So just trying to educate myself about what's going on in this area, in this space.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we just had yesterday we just had a metaverse startup career fair, and on our keynote was the CEO of Women Who Code. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about education tonight, and I'm sure you'll have a lot to tell us about it as well.
Thank you.
One of the things you raised is actually we've got an event later on at 12 o'clock our time, which is about 3 hours away, and we've hired basically the screen for the main mall in Brisbane, which will display NFTs for around about an hour. Well, NFTs and animations for about an hour. So that's why we're trying to bring the public, not just crypto enthusiasts, to NFTs and digital art. So yeah, that's one of the I guess big things we're trying to do with the festival, rather than just make it to a small audience, actually broaden the audience. And obviously, if you're an NFT creator, obviously broaden your customer base as well. Yeah, sorry for
yeah, definitely. We should talk about that, because one thing about creating NFT is people create it, they don't realize you have to sell it as well. So maybe we'll talk about that. We have some experience that we can talk about. Down here in Miami, there's a lot of projection mapping and murals. So maybe we talk about how art walks and such can be used for NFT sales. So we have Julio also just joined from Miami. Julio, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hey, Pravi, hello.
Yeah. So Julio is actually one of my main hackathon partners. So we did the Blade Runner VR and all this other cool stuff. But Julio does a lot of stuff besides hackathons. So I don't want to pigeonhole him.
Thank you, Pravi. Well, this is a great opportunity.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself for the roundtable?
Yeah, I'm just one of Pravi's tech friends. We're both I guess we're both fixtures here in the Miami tech community. Pravi's done some outstanding work and building a community of gamers and VR specialists here. I do more management consulting right now, focusing on IoT, and I got some NFT projects that I've been introduced to over the last couple of months, including some cybersecurity, and I guess that's it for now. Just evangelizing the Miami tech scene.
Sure. So as part of, people who watch this live stream or have festival passes via the festival, we'll send Matt some discount codes and free stuff to send to all the festival pass holders, including, the AR VR track for the Miami Sci-Fi Film Festival. We'll show you the whole YouTube secret playlist. We had people from Epic Games and Unity and Magically talking about how to make films in AR. So I'll give you all that for free, the workshops. And also we have our video game cruise coming up in July. So we're the only city in the world that actually has a whole cruise. This year's just 5 days to Jamaica and Haiti. So I'll give you guys a good discount code. I don't expect you to come, but you can look at it. Yeah. There's a big esports celebrities come by and everything.
There's a big audience for NFT New York. So from Australia, so they could quite possibly come to Miami.
That's great. All right, so I'll share my screen. We'll just get started with. All right, so let's start with the William Shatner, because I think that's the headline of what Matt was promoting today. So. So do you guys see William Shatner?
Yeah, we do. Yep.
All right. So on the live stream, Matt, can you make sure that this screen is, the second screen is being the one shown? Or pin that.
It appears what you're showing appears
Okay,
on the live stream. So yeah.
Okay, so this is a short clip, 2 minutes. Then just to give you a overview, Matt, I think already sent the festival pass holders the full 10-minute clip. And then we'll go over some additional aspects of this project after we show the 2-minute opening clip.
How you got involved in Wax blockchain?
Say that. You're interested in asking me what?
About how you got involved in Wax blockchain?
Right.
Basically, one of the things is particularly everyone is asking about. You used to talk about your, your live stream or the stars. You become dust after you pass type thing. Is this a way for you to save your life or save your consciousness afterwards, like in the whole Star Trek realm?
You think blockchain will do that?
I'm asking you. I don't know. It's
yeah. It's as reasonable an explanation as any. Yeah. we all become blocked. Well, if you take both the continuity and the ephemeralness of blockchain, I mean, it exists and it doesn't exist. Well, you mean the e-currency is like the way a dollar bill isn't that way, is it?
Yeah, a dollar bill. I mean, in theory, maybe early on when perhaps money was invented, where your beads meant how important you did things for your tribe. Yeah. But now I don't know. But really, it's like
I was in Tibet, and they measure their wealth by the wood that they have to burn. The fire in their one-room homes. The fire is everything. They cook and are heated by and illuminated by fire, and everything in the mountains is desolate. They've many centuries ago cut down the wood. So finding a stick that they can burn is wealth, because what's happening, as I'm sure you know, that the Ganges starts in the Himalayas, and now that they don't have the forest that bound the earth to the mountains, that's sweeping down the Ganges and all the other rivers and flooding the deltas with silt and silting everything up. So I mean, there's a great deal of going on.
Yeah. So what you saw there was like basically the. I mean, obviously it's COVID, so he's sitting at home and I'm sitting at home. But what's interesting about this interview, is William Shatner's been involved in a lot of blockchain projects over the years. I mean, he's an early adopter, but he's never granted an on-camera interview ever, and he probably never will, as about talking about crypto or blockchain. He'll do like a blog post or something, but this is the only time he's ever talked about it on camera. Matt and I were talking about earlier, you don't want to be shilling your tokens or whatever too. That's probably the worst way to sell something, especially nowadays where everyone's trying to shill buy my NFT. So maybe that's one reason why, but there's a lot of reasons, right? And so this leads us to the first point. I'm going to show more videos later on too, but let's just talk about this one, the round table, and we'll let Art introduce himself. Art can talk about art. Mary Marlin can talk about this from the gaming and other projects point of view. Is it's important to be authentic, basically. So you saw with this interview, the concept was that he knows us from the Sci-Fi Film Festival, so he already liked us, right? And he knew the audience was people who are already his fans and such. So he could really open up, and part of that was he's basically speaking to his community, basically. And that was really important. And, anyone can like make a William Shatner token sell out. In fact, this one sold out in 3 minutes, 120,000 NFTs. But there was also a lot of innovation behind this NFT, which we'll go into in a second. But maybe we'll just go around the round table and just discuss how this interview, how it sounded to you, or what you thought about it as far as like a NFT type marketing type thing. So Art, why don't you just introduce yourself first? And maybe you can even talk about your Colombian tokens and some things like that, things you've done in Miami.
Sure. Hi guys, how are you? My name's Art. I do a lot of kind of crypto and blockchain and Bitcoin stuff in Miami. I'm very active in the NFT space. I have been a part of NFTs since the start. I have the first graffiti NFT ever that I minted in Miami in 2019. It's kind of historic. It's part of a Miami space called Esquina de Huela, and it's kind of a graffiti kind of hangout, like street art kind of like venue for concerts and artist studios. But the cool part is it is entirely covered in graffiti by like the best artists. And one of their paintings is called Pre-Columbian. It's painted by a
so Art, I think artist. Just to make it like relevant, you know, the people aren't from Miami, I think. So okay. I think really the relevant aspects, maybe I'll direct you there, is one is your NFTs were Bitcoin focused.
Oh, yes.
To traditionally, you know, NFTs aren't Bitcoin focused. So we'll talk about basically, if you're an NFT creator, how do you choose which chain to build upon? And maybe we'll talk about.
Okay.
And also Art knows both sides. So he's also the founder of, you know, it's the SH coin. I'm not going to say the curse word, but SH coin conference here in Miami. It's probably, you know, the best conference here. People think it's better than the Bitcoin conference down here. It's always you know, the same time as the Bitcoin conference, but literally Art charges $5 for his conference and people don't even pay. And the other one's like 3,000 or something. People like his conference better. So he's a Bitcoin maximalist when he has to be, and also the opposite when he can be. So we'll get into that in a second too.
So in terms of NFTs and chains, my preferred chain for most things is Bitcoin blockchain. It's, you know, the oldest, most secure, strongest, safest chain there is, and no one's in charge of it, so there's no issues in terms of censorship and all that stuff. And actually, a lot of people don't know this. NFTs started on top of Bitcoin. NFTs didn't show up on Ethereum until around 2020, actually.
Right. And, so this is an important point for everyone listening to consider. Is if you guys ever go to a Bitcoin conference, not a blockchain conference, a Bitcoin conference, right? There's a concept of Maximus or Maxis, they call them, right? And if you start talking about like crypto to them, you'll trigger them. They'll actually get angry at you. And we found this out in Miami where for the Bitcoin conference, right? You know, they actually had one room with just comedians. They had some like famous comedians, but you know, they had regular comedians too. And it's all like in a lot of the comedians, you know, they knew the basics. Some of them didn't know the basics, but you know, it's a Bitcoin conference. They started just talking about like sometimes they throw in a crypto jokes, right? And the audience actually like started yelling back at the comedians when they started saying crypto too much in a set. And they corrected them saying, you know, say Bitcoin, not crypto, right?
And that's funny. I love it.
Yeah.
That's even like more funny that way.
Right. Yeah. So it was like, and you know, a lot of these comedians don't like the audience heckling them. So it became part of so they started like afterwards, right? You know, some of these comedian friends of ours, they started like long after the conference is over, they're still doing like stand-up sets down here, still like angry at the crypto bros, whatever. But you know, I think like it was a two-way street, I think. So we became part of their set. We're gonna be part of their set for a long time. I think the best joke I heard at a stand-up open mic night last week was one of his girls. I'm not going to say her name, but one of our friends down here. She started talking about all these Bitcoin dudes in cargo shorts, emotionally unavailable, and anyways, I'm sure we're gonna be part of her TikToks for a long time.
Yeah.
But anyways, so, Marlon, why don't you opine?
I just had a like a small little thing. So the biggest kind of difference in terms of Bitcoin NFTs versus other chains is Bitcoin gives you more independence, less censorship. However, it's a much smaller market. So artists who don't have as much of an established following tend to put their stuff on top of other chains, especially Ethereum, because there's a lot of buyers inside of those chains.
So we'll go into that because a lot of the filmmakers down here, will go into basically how you make your film, how you monetize your film without NFTs, but just using crypto, which is a good use case for Bitcoin. So Marlon, do you want to talk about Starter? And I know you work with a lot of chains and such over time.
Yeah, sure. So I know the session is focused mostly on NFTs, but Starter is essentially a launchpad for DeFi projects, and it has been, as I said earlier in the introduction, we've launched a little over 60 projects now. But the relevance to that is, or to this event is, we realize that IDOs.
If you can define that as well, all the terms.
Yeah, IDOs, which are initial DEX offerings. It's a way to raise funds for your project and launch it on a decentralized exchange. We realize that business fluctuates quite a bit based on the market sentiment. So whenever the general crypto market is doing bad, there's very little interest in anyone investing in the next DeFi project, right? So the volatility of that business, it almost reflects the volatility of the crypto market. When Bitcoin's doing well, there are just a ton of projects, because obviously the money from Bitcoin flows into altcoins, and tons of projects invest in IDOs. So we've adapted to that climate over time by launching other solutions as well. So for example, there's a game that we're building. It's a Tamagotchi style game that has the characters as NFTs. And it consists of you getting into the game, minting an egg, and that egg, once you nurture it, it hatches randomly after a few days, but it becomes an infant, and then you need to actually feed it, right? You need to give it exercises, make it rest for 4 to 8 hours a day. And as it grows, it gains strength. You can prepare it for battle with other NFT characters that are also in a battle stage. So we expanded to that, and also most recently launched an NFT launchpad called OpenStarter. So we're working with, we've launched 2 or 3 drops so far, but it's essentially a launchpad for NFTs. And you guys will see in the next few weeks, but we're going to help with the Sylvester Stallone NFT drop called Planet Sly. So a small portion of those NFTs will be going through our OpenStarter platform. So look out for that.
So Marlon,
and it's just a lot of interesting.
So I didn't interrupt, Marlon. So how does the Sly Stallone NFT come about? Is it a bunch of photos, or is it drawings, or how does that?
It's actually,
set up?
Yeah, it's degenerative art, so it is created by software, but it's going to be a combination of. If you go to planetsly.com, you'll see a couple teasers.
Oh, okay.
It's a combination of, like, Rambo, old Rambo pictures, and some of them have certain glasses. There's one where his eyes is bruised up from from a fight. It's really.
Hey Marlon, can I share the screen for Planet Slide?
Yeah,
go for it. Yeah.
All right, because we're live streaming. I'm not sure if you. Okay, that's fine. I'll share. So
yeah. But so, I say all that to say, just in general, that we have a vast amount of experience, hands-on experience in the space, from DeFi products, GameFi, and especially now NFTs, because we're getting more and more involved in helping. And we're not artists at all, because again, Pravi and I come from developing and building businesses and solutions in blockchain. So we're builders, right? We help facilitate. We're behind the scenes making things happen that people don't think that we're part of.
What's funny? Like, I went to University of Miami, and like every college has got an old custodian or groundskeeper or whatever. Even Starfleet Academy, right? Picard, they had, he was friends with the groundskeeper there. So our community center, right? The guy there, he's been there forever. He told me about the time Sylvester Stallone went to UM and he dropped out. That's actually even where he wrote Rocky. He's telling me about, all the stories about him at UM too. Basically, he's just used to hang out at the pool hall all day and bowling alley.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Interesting. Yeah. But this came through some of our friends at Bad Crypto Podcast. I mean, those guys are really great experts at NFTs, and they're helping Sylvester Stallone launch this, and they brought us in to help with the minting part of it. But yeah, it's going to be great. Again, just one example, but we've launched a lot of different sort of projects throughout the space on so many different levels, and it's really great to see you guys in Australia, and the interest that's there. And Matt, you're part of the blockchain association there, is that right?
I'm not part of it, but I do have a lot to do with the local community, with NFTs and blockchain.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
Great. And then, thanks, Marlon. Yeah, it sounds like an awesome project. And I know, if anyone here can do a Sly Stallone impression, now's the time. Maybe we'll NFT that.
They do look good. I do like the look of those NFTs. They're very humorous.
Can you do the voice in Australian?
What catchphrase do you want me to do?
Yo, Adrian, right?
Yo, Adrian, or something. I can't do it. That's awful. Sorry, man.
I think Dana can do it.
Yo. I don't know.
Hey, Adrian.
That's pretty good, Daniel. That's pretty good. Yeah.
All right. I guess we introduced Dana and Shebang from Vegas Blockchain Center, Future Vegas Blockchain Center.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, well, he is here, but Siobhan lives in LA, but he's in town in Vegas this week because we had some meetings. But yeah, nice to meet you all.
Cool. And I guess you're actually a filmmaker as well, and you and Siobhan.
Yeah. So Siobhan's been in the industry for over 15 years, working for a number of different networks, from Oprah Winfrey, Bravo, Nickelodeon, Discovery, and we are making a film together. He just finished the first draft of his script, and the movie's called Barracuda, and I'm producing the film. So yes, And we're going to be using NFTs to help fundraise part of the film for production. So that should be dropping late, probably early June. So
yeah, so let's do a real-time roundtable around your movie.
Yeah, I was going to ask, probably if you don't mind,
can
I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
So how are you thinking of integrating NFTs? And I'm asking because of something that I just joined yesterday. I'm going to tomorrow. I'll talk about that. But how are you integrating NFTs into the film?
So basically, we are going to, this first fundraising drop, so we're going to be doing a number of things throughout the production of the film to continue to engage a community and drop different subsequent series of smaller things that are attached to different experiences and access to the film and to the crew and things like that. But this first fundraising drop that we're doing is actually going to be acting as not only fundraising, but it's going to give you access to the film once the film comes out, and then it'll whitelist you for these subsequent drops. But we also have a partner here in Las Vegas who we're meeting with tomorrow. They own an auto shop here, and they specialize in car restoration, like old classic cars. And our movie's called Barracuda because it's a story, it's a road trip movie, and one of the characters in the movie is basically, the car is a 1974 Plymouth Barracuda, which is a unicorn of a car in itself. And so we have partnered with them. Not only are they helping us to find the car for the movie, but they also have a restored VW Bug that we are going to raffle away in this first drop. So they're donating the car to us to help us raise funds for the film, so that not only will people be able to help us fund the film, and really what we're doing is, instead of a lot of projects, they're so focused on the NFT, what we want to do in the film is make people want to make a movie with us. It's about the movie. So how do we, in the climate that we're in right now in the NFT industry, and especially like all the news that's going on in America with the economy and the stock market today and everything, it's not about, the NFT. It's about, hey, this movie, we're going to be bringing awareness to veteran mental health and the fact that, 16 to 17 military veterans are taking their lives every day because of, PTSD, suicide, all of that stuff. And then also it's a road trip drama where you have two men, the friendship, being able to say, hey, especially coming out of the pandemic, being able to know you're not alone, and showing men on screen being okay with asking for help and showing this relationship that buds across the road. One's a Native American, and we have a partnership with a tribe in Michigan who has come on board to be our main character's tribe of origin. And then the cryptocurrency entrepreneur, who is his best friend, is actually my business partner, Siobhan. He is South Asian Indian, so from India. So you basically have two Indians going on a road trip, underrepresented voices in entertainment. And there's just so many things that you're going to learn about cryptocurrency along the journey and all of this stuff. So it's about, hey, we're really promoting, let's come together to do something greater than just an NFT. Like, we want people to feel like they're a part of making the film with us. So this first drop is going to give them access to that. And then along the way, we have, airdrops from Native artists that we have partnered with and commissioned some fine art from, that people are just going to have airdropped into their wallet with this. They're going to be able to have access to become maybe an extra in the film, or access to props from the film, meet and greets. We're going to be doing a road trip movie, so we're going to be going across America, and there's going to be different opportunities to actually do in-person events. We'll have events in our Discord, and it's just going to be a way to build community and bring resources to those who are, have mental health or love people who have mental health issues. So while also telling an entertaining story. So I don't know if I, got that all out in a cohesive manner, but that's kind of what we're doing with our NFTs.
Yeah, so we'll definitely talk about your movie in 1 second, but Art has a burning comment, so I'm going to share screen about the car. Art, you can unmute yourself, and I'll share your screen.
Hello. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. So yeah, this is the art that I sold during the conference. It's the first car that was ever purchased through crypto, and it's pretty historic. My friend purchased it in 2013 for 1,000 Bitcoin, and
it says $48 million Prius.
Yeah.
How's that?
1,000 Bitcoin times $40,000.
But this says 90,000 here.
The original price.
That was our.
What it would have been. Yeah, the current price in Bitcoin right now.
So what was it? Was 10,000? Is that correct?
Yeah, so.
Wow. It's awesome, man. So basically, Back to the Future Part 7, right? We'll go back in time, tell the dude,
don't do
it. Yeah, we'll take our Bitcoin from back then, and yeah, save it.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That is so cool. And you know what?
Oh yeah, 1,000 Bitcoins right there.
People are willing to dish out that money for these Priuses these days.
Well, it's a pretty special Prius. It's actually broken too. It like barely started. It's like really fucked up, but it's like super historic. You know, it's like a historic thing. So I don't know.
54 million Australian dollars.
Yeah.
For that car.
Right, so this leads me to what I wanted to get into with you and Dana and Siobhan in a second. Is basically if you're a Bitcoin guy or purse girl, or you're an educator like Petria, right? And you want to use crypto, but you don't know how NFTs can be part of your project, is you can just skip the NFT aspect and go directly to the currency. And that actually is pretty cool because, Bitcoin is the largest by market cap anyway. And even if you can do an NFT, sometimes people don't accept it. That's, I guess, not really part of the whole Bitcoin ethos to have NFTs on there. So sometimes, the less you do, the less, like Marlon's trying to teach me this too, the less you say sometimes, the better. And that works pretty well here. So one of the things that we did is, for part of the Miami Sci-Fi Film Festival, we started a commercial arm called Wiki Sci-Fi TV, the typical Roku and all that stuff as well. But as you guys know, right, there's not that much money in ads for streaming, things like that. So part of it is, you look at these other things we're good at, like crypto, right? So maybe we'll talk about that now, is how do we use Bitcoin or crypto in general without having NFTs to actually support your filmmaking endeavors? And maybe we'll start with Art and talk about how people can just send Bitcoin to support a real world art or film project without having NFTs.
Well, Prof, I'm going to
have go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to have to split in a few, but I did want to say one thing to Dana. If you don't mind, just share my screen real quick.
Oh yeah, man, sure.
So Dana, the reason I asked you about that earlier is because there is.
I think you can share now. Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a new project that actually I just found out about yesterday called FCF, and that is fan control football. With fan control football, it's sharing the wrong tab here. I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, there we go. Can you see that? Can you guys see this?
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is a very cool idea. Essentially, I'm going to be attending a football game tomorrow, that is a very interactive football game. You basically download this app called the Fan Control Football app, and you sign up. Now, when you sign up, you can join one of, I believe, 8 to 10 teams. But in order to join the team, in order to pick a team, you have to own an NFT. And you're stuck with that team for the duration of the season. Now, you download the app, you get the NFT, you join a team, and then you can participate in the actual real world football games that the team is having. So that's the NFT application, one of the NFT applications to it. But not only that, when you're at the game using the app, you get to select the plays that the team makes on the field. So the app allows you to say, hey, make this play, throw this pass. And for the NFT holders, is the votes on the play with the most votes, that's the play that's given to the quarterback, and he actually does it in real time. So I thought that was
how so do the people who are voting, did they know? I mean, how do you not know, like the other team now has like a strategic team, like voting and understanding like what plays are going to be played before they're called? That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how they make that part secret, but I thought it was a really great integration of a real world event. Like you're saying, with your film, you're going to have, access to real world events too. Mm-hmm. But I thought this was a very clever way to integrate NFTs with a real world event and make it very interactive, to the point where the NFT holders are actually sending instructions to the players. So I wanted to bring that up just in case it gave you some ideas for your movie, to see one application of real world integration in NFTs.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
I wonder, I'm not familiar, but what does it take these days in order to have a app built for you now, like of this nature?
It really not as much as it used to. I mean, NFTs you can do through, even my platform, OpenStarter, for no cost except for gas, paying for creating your collection. So we created an NFT creating platform. There are many others out there too, where you just pay for gas. There's some that are trying gasless transactions, but creating NFTs, you can pretty much do that fairly straightforward nowadays. Getting a developer to create an app that allows
the NFT
holders to interact with your stuff. It's not that, this is maybe 2 weeks worth of work for somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, so this particular project, and this kind of leads me to the point I wanted to make with Shivang as well, is this is actually our friend's project out in LA, and Marlon used to be in LA as well. And they've been working on this for a long time. They've been doing fantasy sports for a long time. In fact, one of their players came to the event in Palm Beach, Florida, and he lives in Marlon. He lives in Atlanta, and he's going to be playing, I guess, at the game that Marlon's going to go to. So there's two things going on here. One is it's a pretty advanced project because this isn't the first iteration, right? But they have staying power, over the different ups and downs of crypto. But they became part of the community, right? So we're all rooting for them because, they've been doing it for so long. And so they wasn't built overnight. So it's a pretty advanced project because they've just been plugging away. But also, it is a sports league, right? So it says football, but I kind of recall their first football league was soccer, right? Now they pivoted to NFL because I think they were doing some stuff in Europe or something. But so the concept here is the community building, right? So their players literally came to a crypto conference and started hanging out with us, right? So that was the best marketing. So in your case, like I met you and Shivang literally at a crypto conference, right? You were talking about NFTs. So you became part of the community. So it's almost like, what Zuckerberg found out, right? Who's saying something to you half as, at least as important as what's being said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, being part of the community and the actors you cast, the dialogue you have in your movie, you're talking about crypto in the movie. Mm-hmm. So a lot of like NFT type films are either one or the other, right? Either the movie just has NFTs to sell it, or it's just a movie talking about NFTs or crypto without any actual NFT aspect on the back end. So you're doing both. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, I think we're all learning from each other. I guess that's kind of the roundtable is about. And
oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect when I jumped on. I didn't know it was gonna be like, oh, hi, how you doing?
Yeah,
but that's great. That's cool. And I love that. And it's funny because I'm a part of a group. I help lead a women's Web3 group, and we've started mobilizing, just keeping track. We started making a list of all the conferences that are starting to take place that we're hearing about throughout the US from now until the end of the year. And we're going to start doing hopefully start arranging a series of events for women at these things too, just to start building community there. So there is something to be said about almost road showing yourself as the face of your brand, you know what I mean? So that you can start talking to people, getting to know people, getting to share best practices. And then once we're through pre-production and even production, if there's different, maybe times where somebody's not needed for certain scenes that are being filmed and there's a conference going on, they're joining, me or Siobhan or, at a conference or something. So I love that idea.
Sure. And Petria, do you want to talk about the women in tech aspect? I know I'm gonna pull up a video about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Hi, Dan. It's Dana.
Yes, and you're Petria.
Petria. Yes. Unusual name. My name is unusual.
Beautiful. Nice to hear a female voice on this call.
Well, it's actually accidental in some ways, in some regards, because I saw Matt advertising it because, as he alluded to just before, he's having an event in the city that I was really keen on because I'm advocating for more girls and women in STEM. So I'm in the education piece. But as I see it, that to make it relevant, to make it interesting, fun, education has to be more engaging. So we actually work a lot with Google, and we talk about Google's piece. And just last night, Matt showcased about XR and how it's operating between all these mixed devices, but also mixed technologies, what have you. So and it's so funny that for our National Science Week, which is coming up in August, we're going to do a piece on sustainability, but we're going to use it with machine learning. And so this is where it all gets a bit interesting, because we can bring in these technologies, we can bring in the future to children or to the education audience, whether that actually is primary or secondary school in Australia. But the way that education is taught is so boring. They don't understand calculus. Why do we do maths at this level? What's that got to do with anything? But if you bring in about sustainability, like this brings in Shatner before that you were talking about, like the Star Trek, and he was talking about how they've basically ruined the environment with their wealth and everything like that. All these pieces actually join together, and it all makes a very interesting piece. But part of this, of what we've all got in common, is the funding. How do we get what we want to do out there? And it's always a cat fight to get government funding, grants, whatever, government grants or what have you.
Sure. I think this session, we only have a few, 10 minutes left. So maybe, okay. What I think I'll do is we have a lot of our meetups are actually 6 hours long. So obviously we can't fill it. So what I'll do is I'll send Matt all the links and videos we're going to show today. So everyone who signed up on his sign up list can get the links and they can pursue it on their own. And also I'll give Matt our contact information so that we can continue to collaborate between the United States and Australia. So that'd be great. Okay. But just to go to Patria's point that she raised, maybe I'll show some examples of successful projects that fundraised, and also the games and the female-led projects down here. Just to give, and Patria, you can keep talking while we show this stuff. Yeah, you can keep talking. I'll share so we can multitask, right?
So a coughing attack. I'm sorry about that. I got some water. Another hat that I wear is that I'm on the board of a group called Women in Technology. We have 8,000 members, and these are women in technology and science, and that varies right through from people who are using user experience or right through to scientific breakthrough. But obviously, technology permeates everything that we do in life. So yeah, so there you go. That's a great piece there. You know, I mean, in lockdown, you know, the kids were using their lounge rooms as zoos. You know, they were putting in pieces and things like that. So we have a generation that is
welcome to Art Hero.
Oh, sorry, I'm gonna mute this so you can keep talking. Sorry.
Okay. So the next generation are, as we all know, they're what we call natives to technology. So it only makes sense that education should be, you know, up to this level of what is happening in real life. And yeah, so sorry, I'll stop talking because I think I'm hogging the microphone. So
no, it's fine. All right, well, I'll just let me introduce these, and then I'll mute this. So basically, you're talking about grants and such. So one of the grants, there's an artist down here. She's a metaverse artist, Hazel Griffiths. And one of the things that we do is, since we do weekly events or several times a week, we train artists, game developers, et cetera, filmmakers, how to create their NFTs, et cetera. So Hazel came to us with zero knowledge of all these things. I mean, she is a good artist, but we trained her to be a NFT, metaverse, AR, VR artist. And then she eventually won a competitive grant from the TELUS Foundation, 50,000 tokens, which is the equivalent of $50,000 basically, to make this augmented reality scavenger hunt game, which is also a good use case for education, because a lot of the educational things going down here are scavenger hunts for kids, and we teach workshops for that. So let me just play the video of her introducing the game, and I'll show you a gameplay test we did at CES in Vegas as well. So
he's on his way. So
this is at the Gamer Cruise last year, so you can see.
Whatever you feel about him, you know, give him a warm welcome because he's nice enough to come. So we'll introduce him. So he's on his way. So our first guest is Miss Hazel Griffith, and she's going to talk about her brand new awesome game.
Thank you. So yeah, I'd like to introduce our new game concept, Art Hero, which is tokenizing artwork in the real world and creating like a treasure hunt out of it. So you can open the app and find if there's any art to find in your area, and you'll track it via GPS, and once you find it, it will create 2 unique tokens. One will go to the artist and one will go to you. So you can then keep those tokens, you can swap them for other assets, and you can also keep the artwork itself. So we have like a little test version of the app at our booth, and that's also an opportunity to win Telos tokens. So you can all stop by and play the game and hopefully win some tokens tonight. All right, thank you so much.
So there's a few key things that she said there, right? One is, you know, she mentioned the chain that she was building on. So this video became part of her application to get a grant, because literally she had the basics of a game, but then she needed the grant to finish the game, right? So basically by her mentioning this at a major, whatever, gamer cruise type thing, that helped her application. The other thing is, since she knows the industry, right, as an artist, she knows that, there's a whole ecosystem of art, which now includes NFTs, including gallery owners too. So she recognized that gallery owners also have to make a living. So she took her industry knowledge and added NFTs to it. She didn't start with NFTs, right? She figured out how NFTs can be used in the industry. So this is like the gameplay test we did in Vegas. That's the game, right? Part of the game for the giraffes, but here's the gameplay test in Vegas right here. I'll play this real quick. You guys ever been to Vegas, there's this...
Welcome, X-Start developers, to Elena Bulletova Fine Art in Las Vegas. Let me show you a little bit of gallery that I hope you're gonna visit on Monday or Tuesday. And let me show you one thing that I'm sure you're gonna be very interested. Come with me. So we have an option here in the gallery, if you're interested of knowing more things about some pieces, to just scan it like this with your phone, no matter the brand. And then you can just open it on a web page and you will have all the necessary information.
That's Optimus Prime with recycled steel. But
let me show you something that I'm sure you're gonna find very interesting. Next to the Predator, also Elena Bulletova Fine Art Gallery was the first gallery, at least here in Las Vegas and in California, that included cryptocurrency in the method of payment. So we have that option, and you can always purchase any piece of art here with any cryptocurrency there is there on the market. So welcome.
So two things happen there, right? One is, the game itself was a way to promote the gallery, basically, during a major tech conference, CES, right? So it was win-win. So the gallery owner got to use the game as a way to drive traffic and also to get the metaverse AR, VR developers, crypto people come to gallery, but also as a way, just more marketing for them. So, and the way they picked the gallery owner is, that's a gallery owner that's from Florida, actually. So we had that in with them. And also they were also, like you said, the first gallery in Vegas that accepted crypto. So we kept in the community and we extended the community. So we didn't have to try to explain crypto to them. So that was a big thing too. So basically, that's kind of maybe that's a good way to end this tonight, is just making sure maybe we can go around the round table, maybe just give away your top 3 takeaways of what you learned or what you want people to focus on. So my top 3 thing is, focus on your community, as far as how it's going to be used and such, not just what's in it for you, basically. Number 2 is focus on the actual whole life cycle of the project, basically, and think about that ahead of time. So you notice Hazel, she noticed, she can build an MVP, but she couldn't get the whole project built, right? So how do you get the more developers and foundations to be on your side? And then think about what's in it for them, how you can get them on your side. And number 3 is the whole Elon Musk type thing recently, not the Twitter thing, but the SpaceX thing, right? Where he had a comment to Jeff Bezos of SpaceX versus Blue Origin. And I mentioned this because William Shatner's token, right, went up in value again after he came back from space on Blue Origin. So it's top of mind. But what Elon Musk said to Jeff Bezos was, Blue Origin, they take themselves too seriously. They don't work hard enough. So they're on the wrong end of both spectrums, right? So that's just one thing with the NFT community is the culture is, don't take yourself so seriously, but also work hard, right? So that's my 3 takeaways. So maybe we'll go with Shebang, and you can do your intro and your 3 takeaways, Shebang.
Hey, yeah.
Oh yeah, go
on. Sorry, yeah, I'm, oh, that might not work, actually. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm Siobhan, guys. I'm the filmmaker Dana mentioned, and just yeah, I'm actually born in India, but based in Los Angeles. So that's my quick intro. In terms of my takeaways, I do agree with Praveen about building the community, which is something that we're doing now, right in the process, right in the middle of it. And so that's sort of been my learning curve, you know, for as a filmmaker, trying to figure out like, how do you build that community in this new approach going forward with NFTs, you know? So that's one thing. And then just, I did like this video with Hazel, the AR aspect, like how can I incorporate AR as a filmmaker, you know, into it. So I'm sure you guys are already way ahead of the curve on me on that one, but so that was something that I'm going to probably go doing a little bit more research into. And then the third thing, I don't know. I don't know if I have a third thing. What do you think? Just doing more of this, just a social, just engaging and you know, talking about our projects and in any space, I think is valuable. And so, like, thank you for having us.
Sure, and thanks, man.
Sorry about the feedback.
Of course, man. So maybe your partner, Danya.
We can't hear you, Praveen.
Can't.
I can hear you fine.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you fine, personally.
Okay. Yeah, Danya, if you want to maybe follow your partner.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, this was great. My first takeaway, I think, is just the community here. You know, we talk about building community with our holders or trying to get people interested in what we're doing and how do we fundraise and all of that. But I really think it's important to continue to just engage in building relationships among those who know about this industry so that we can share best practices and just expand our reach. I know that's really cool that Patria is in Australia and that this is being broadcast. This is something that's coming from around the world. There's women in our group that are, 20 different countries as well. And I love being in those spaces because you get different perspectives. So that's my first. My second is I did love Hazel was her name. It almost sounded like she created like a Pokemon Go situation with NFT art. And I'm like, we're doing a road trip across America. How do we, you know, take that model for people who have who are engaged in our NFTs and almost create like a scavenger hunt type thing? Because what we want to do is create a call to action. We want people to feel like, hey, I want to go take a road trip with some friends. I want to go on the road. I want to go do this. So creating like something where they can take the trip, you know, after they see the movie, and they can engage in different ways in different spots that you saw in the movie. So if there is some type of like thing that they can, you know, I don't even know what it's called, geocaching or whatever that word is. Yeah, so it's kind of like using NFTs and you get little surprises along the way on the journey. I think that's another cool thing. And then my third takeaway is really, being able to see a giraffe in your house and kids in there. That is so cool. And being able to get more women and children into this. What I'd like to see, I don't know, we're just scratching the surface, right? I'd like to see if there's anyone in the industry creating standards for responsible use of this technology. Because if somebody is in it 24/7, this is the first generation where kids have been able to be on their phone since birth, right? And there's a lot of studies showing that Alzheimer's and dementia, our precursors, are being seen in 11-year-olds right now, because the phone in your hand there's low frequency that is being, you know, absorbed through your skin into your bloodstream, and their brains are not developing correctly. So it's just, the technology is good, but there needs to be some sort of like, you know, if a person is putting their kid in a thing 24/7 just to keep them occupied, but their eyes are not developing because the eye muscles are not able to do long distances in real life, you know, there's things that we're going to be learning with all the growth of this. And I'd love to see if there's anybody doing studies on or have thought about these types of things, because they're great. But I like to see some responsible use, you know, stuff start to come out of it too.
Sounds good. Maybe I'll give it to Art next time, because he actually works at an academic institution, does a lot of studies. But before I give it to Art, one of the things, well, for people listening, especially on Facebook live stream, I'll give it to Kirby. Seems like Hazel's project's a big hit. We have a lot of VR videos with Hazel, and she's actually become a pretty well-known virtual realms artist, creating metaverses in alt space for Burning Man and stuff. So maybe we'll do another, maybe just a deep dive into her art and her process. If Matt wants to do that, you can do that separate.
Absolutely.
And Art, maybe we should talk about so Art's the perfect person to talk about what you're talking about, Danya, about health and safety, because he literally has killer robots at his beck and call. He's got literally 10 humanoid robots, or 600 pounds each. They're former security bots that were trying to make less killer. He's got two killer robot dogs that can do flips. And
they're pretty cool.
Hazel's been helping too. We did VR videos of her. We got like these robot drummers and such. I'm gonna send all this to Matt so you can see with these robot drummers, literally robots drumming. So there's a lot of robots going on down here, and only a matter of time before they become sentient and become like, you know, part of our film festival. But people are not gonna know if it's fake or not. It's gonna be real, and they're not gonna run away and think it's fake. That's gonna happen, I guarantee it. So go ahead, Art.
Sure. So I'm actually very interested in how technology and like phones and stuff have impacts to childhood and like growing up. So it's actually interesting. As Robin said, I'm a part of a lab at Florida Atlantic. It's a machine learning and robotics lab. However, there's another lab in the same building that's down the hall. They're a early childhood neuroscience laboratory. So they actually study how children grow and learn and develop. So that may actually be a interesting partnership, maybe, to develop some best practices to reduce the negative effects of technology and children. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Thanks, Art. And what are your 3 takeaways, Art, for this?
Yeah, so I think the first is that NFT projects have to have or should have some relevance and benefits to the people that are a part of it, specifically the users and people who are purchasing these tokens. So currently, most of these NFT sales don't actually do anything. They're just a cool token and people can have them and hold them, and that's it, and that's okay. But it's kind of like a money grab, and it's not actually giving anything to the people that are purchasing. So it would be cool to have projects that actually have value, that actually give something to the people that are buying it. I guess that's the first thing. The other thing is NFTs are cool because they offer artists.
Yeah, maybe we should stop right there, Art. Like, I think that's a controversial statement. That's enough, because I think you can say a painting's got no intrinsic use, but it's still got value to the person or the community.
Sure, yeah, but a painting can't have any like purpose. The cool thing about NFTs is they're like a higher function painting almost. So that's the cool part, is that it can be a painting plus extra.
Yeah. So maybe we could bring Matt in now. So I know one of the things we've done, Matt, down here, and you're going to talk about this too tomorrow, I think, at your festival, is other use cases of XR and how NFTs can be. So one of the things we do here in Miami is we have a lot of murals, right? And mural artists. So we're basically adding things using NFTs you can't add with a regular mural. So we're adding music, animation, XR, and all the NFT artists basically are getting collaborators now, like musicians, which you never would need a musician for a mural in the past, and different ways to tokenize and monetize and share revenues with your fellow collaborators. So, and then using projection mapping to project onto the mural different things, layers. So Matt, maybe we just go to you now as our host, and let's Daniel, Petria, and Julio we'll think about your maybe top one. I think we don't have time for top three anymore.
Sure, sure.
And there, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I could go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Dan.
Okay, sure, yeah. So definitely, everyone's touched a bit about on community and curating community on NFTs and how important that is. But I'd say also in line with that is really solidifying like gamification and incentivizing basically action within the DAO. So anything from like another a fungible token that's associated with like governance. That's something that has been a lot of past. Now it's kind of being controversial and people are just doing NFT token voting. But you think about it even as kind of like rewards points. Someone's involved in the DAO, they have their NFT membership, they're contributing, and they basically earn fungible tokens by getting involved. So definitely gamification and incentivization, what I'd say is my one takeaway.
Great. On Julio, your one takeaway.
Thank you again, Pravi and Matt and everyone here for contributing. You know what? What I found fascinating was when Marlon, he mentioned they're having this football league with everybody's voting in on the plays. I finally wanted to see that happen. I'm going to take great interest and see how this plays out because I've heard about this concept. And so not really a takeaway, but that's one observation. I just can't to see what the results of that would be and how that's going to influence, might influence entertainment, this whole interactive concept, how we can dictate what happens on a field or in a movie. So that's really interesting what I just saw. That was great.
Cool. And Petria?
Yeah, thank you very much for hosting this today, Matt and Prav. My takeaway is, like everybody, sharing knowledge. It gives a lot of inspiration, and I think it's going to be a really exciting future.
Sounds good. All right, and then I'll lead Matt in with the projection mapping XR. So we actually work with some actually Australian startups here in Miami, but we get their product shipped from us from Australian universities. So literally we're their first customer, a lot of your startups, university startups, including Vox Photonics out of Adelaide University. And we're good because all the stuff gets like broken and shipping from Australia to Miami. And we basically fix it when it gets here. So we do. So here's an example of NFT projection mapping in midair, things that like no one does outside of Miami really. But we are basically very grateful to the Australian community for helping us build this here. So let me show you this. And this is also a result of a winning grant. So thank you for also helping us win the grant, like you cool Australian people here. So here. So this is mid-air projection mapping. This is actually in the same place that Art does his conferences. And we'll end with
Sorry. Okay. My name is Reynaldo Torres Villarey. I'm from Venezuela. We are here in Miami, and this is the installation. If you can see. Okay, this is holographics. Basically, kind of installation, video mapping. I'm using Mosquito fabrics. Okay, bunch of them. There are about 48 strips of fabric, and we're using 2 laser of this principle is use light as a volume, okay, not just on a wall, but give you a space, okay. As you can see, you have the different layers of projection on the fabrics. Depending on the kind of installation, you can use different fabrics. This one is like pretty transparent, and they're made color, so they retain more light. They let more light go through, as you can see. They're very good, but when you have, in this case, about 10 layers of them, they retain all the video. So they're acting like different screens.
Yeah, so so thanks again, Matt, and I'll hand it off to you.
All right, well, thank you, Prev, and thank you everyone for joining. And it has been a wonderful session. I appreciate how generous everyone has been with their time, but also with their knowledge. I, for one, found it fantastic to see how you've progressed things in the States, in particular with retail, looking at how you're funding films and so forth with the NFT and obviously crypto and so forth. So thank you very much, everyone on this call. And I will share whatever information you want to share with me, and I'll distribute it out. Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you, Matt. Good luck in your conference.
Thanks very much.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.